Another month has passed already. I can't believe it. How fast are we zooming through? Hi everybody, we're into April now and it's Throwback Thursday. That's right, what was old is in new again. I'm taking one of my Soul Scrapper challenges from way back in 2024. It was actually March, and I am doing a revamp of the video. This one was for a sketch, and I turned the sketch to suit my photo because I chose only to use one, not two photos. And it's a photo from my trip to Queensland, and my daughter and I went to the store of requirements there. I am an absolute die-hard Harry Potter fan. People who know me know that, and this was perfect for this photo. So I had this paper here, which was a Bella paper, and it was a bookcase, and I thought how perfect when I saw my photo with my wand selection. So I'm going to use all of these pieces here and pull it together, and so we're going to start as the way I normally start, by giving myself my 1-inch border. So using the navy blue cardstock, I'm going to cut out that border, and I use a 1-inch border because it gives stability, but you all know I love my layouts finished off with a border of some sort. So I'm using the navy blue because that's going to pick up the colors in my photo, and it also ties in with the book colors here. Now, isn't that amazing paper? I just love it. I had it for a while. I don't know why I purchased it. A long time ago I purchased it. I probably bought it for some thing I had in my mind that I was going to do, and then of course it never happened, and now it's going to fit perfectly with the theme of this page, and I love it. Look at it. It's so classic Hogwarts, isn't it? It just looks like a Hogwarts bookcase. So I like how that fits together nicely. I'm just making sure it sits down flat against the frame there. And now I'm bringing in some Harry Potter papers. Of course, these were designed specifically for Harry Potter, and I pre-cut well, I haven't cut it yet. I've got a sheet of 12 by 12 folded on the diagonal because I'm going to build my diagonal stripe on it, because my papers are 6 by 6 and I want them to go the full length, and they will be longer, so I will have a gap in the middle, and that's okay because I need to put my photo there and you won't see it. So I'm cutting two that 1 inch, two that are 3/4 inch. Yeah, I'm just checking that I've got it right. And then I bring in the third, and I love mustard. I really do love mustard. It's one of my favorite colors, and I'm doing those at 2.5 inch. So that's how I'm getting my pieces to lay up my diagonal. So I'm going to put down my tape because I'm just going to work manually across the page, and I start with the 3/4 inch stripe, and I'm going from edge to edge, and I know that I don't have to go right to the tip because it's just going to fit into that space where I'm going to trim it down so that it fits on the page perfectly, and you'll see that happen in a moment. So I'm just layering it up. So I went from the 3/4 inch to 1.25. I think it's 1.25 inch, sorry. And I'm just putting tape down. I don't know why I did it that way. I have no idea why I didn't just tape it up across the piece of paper. I have no idea. No idea what's going on in my head in that time. But anyway, it still works, and I'm layering down my 2.5 inch with the mustard. I just love the mustard, the Gryffindor mustard. I just love it. It's a great color, and so I'm trimming it down, as you can see here. And this is allowing me to get my diagonal perfect for my page without too much fuss on working it to fit. And because it is the diagonal 12 by 12, it fits perfectly into the space that I need it. So if you're looking carefully, I am making sure that I've got it edge to edge, corner to corner. I'm leaving a mark where I want to trim it so that I can line it up in my trimmer, and that will allow me to get a clean cut so that it fits into that space perfectly. And that's really, really important when you want to do something on a diagonal, that you mark it and cut it perfectly so that you have it sit against the edge of your frame perfectly, and there's no overlap, and it just looks like it's part of the layout. So I've done one side. just going to trim that with my scissors a little bit there because it did burr a little bit, and that's because of the layers of the paper. And then I'm going to cut this one away, and then I'm able to put that in and it fits perfectly edge to edge, and that's what we wanted. So you can see that it's got like a trapezium shape when it's finished, and the long edge is actually 11 3/4 in length, so that it fits on this layout. I'll carefully lift it. I overstepped with the tape there, of course, as I usually do, and I'm just going edge to edge. Now I am leaving everything in to show you the whole process, because some people like to see step by step how it's done, and hopefully that inspires you to have a go yourself if I do it step by step like this, so that you can see and build the diagonal on your page. It's a great way of having a sort of like a happy horizontal, except it's on a diagonal. It's still a landing point for your photos and your embellishments, and it allows you to bring in lots of different colored papers into your pages. And I like a diagonal sometimes. It's just a different look on your page, because we always end up with a vertical or a horizontal, so sometimes it's just nice to put something a little bit different. So you can see that I'm fussing here a little bit to make sure that it goes into place properly, and once you get one edge done, you can then guarantee it's going to go into that next edge. Now if you look carefully, it just falls in and it sits perfect edge to edge. See? Done. And I love how that went together. Now I have got that diagonal in place. Now you can see there's a gap in the middle, and that's okay because I am actually going to be covering that. Now a little bit of the white underneath is sticking through, and that's where the paper burred, and that's what you need to be aware of, and I'm just tucking it in underneath. So now that I've done that, I can put my photo down, and as I said, that's a photo of myself. I was choosing my wand, and guess what wand I got? Wonder if you can guess. Yes, I got Voldemort's. I got Voldemort's wand. Beautiful white wooden wand. Perfect. Added to my edition of wands. I have McGonagall's. I have Dumbledore's. I have Voldemort's, and I have Harry's now. So I am a bit of a Harry Potter nerd, as I said. not fantastic at making sure that I have everything from Harry Potter, like terrible. My house is cluttered with Harry Potter, but I love it, and it is timely. It is 25 years since the first book came out, and I remember when it first came out because I was teaching in a little country school, and it was all the rage, and I fell in love with Harry, and I was teaching a cross-stage class, and it was quite a challenge, and that book became a lifesaver for me. So yeah, Harry Potter. All my children grew up with Harry Potter. They've all got a love of Harry Potter. I love Harry Potter. I do anything that's Harry Potter related. Go and watch the movies. I love Goblet of Fire in particular. So there you go. A little bit of information about me. Probably information that you didn't need to know. All right. So now I'm trimming down my pieces here that I'm going to use to help layer up my photo. And I'm going to put it into layers around my photo to make sure that I've got some detail and some interest in my page, because you know I love layers. And I've got the Gryffindor stripe, which I'm going to put in here, and I'm still fussing whether I want it higher or lower. You know, this is done in real time for you to show you my process and thought process, so that you can see I am not a fast scrapper, despite what it looks like in my videos. I take a lot of time to think. I procrastinate. I adjust and modify, and so it doesn't come easy. I do take time to complete things. I am using a second piece to extend that stripe, because it was a 12 by 12, and this is just a little secret. Doesn't matter. You can, if it has a repeated pattern, match up pieces and it just looks like it belongs there. You don't notice it when it goes down because you embellish over the top of it as well, but it builds that extra extension, and that's really important when you're doing layouts using your mini pads. And trust me, we've all got them. We've got thousands of them lying around. We might as well start using them a lot. And I do like that sometimes the only paper that I can get access to is a 6 by 6, so I will use it. and I will try and use it to the best of my ability. So I have pre-printed my journaling, and it's just the story of going to the store of requirements, how my middle daughter researched it before my youngest daughter and I went on our cruise from Queensland, and we knew we had a day to kill while we were up there waiting for the cruise, and so she found the store of requirements for us, and we hired a car and out we went and spent a great afternoon exploring the shop. It was fantastic. We had a great time. So, you know, we got our, what do you call it? We got our wand, we got a backpack, which is the book, the monster book. So, you know, lots of things. We had butterbeer, that was amazing. Yeah, so it was a really good experience, and there were lots of photos taken that day. So sometimes you just need to capture those little moments, and this is what this layout is about. Of course, being a Harry Potter nerd, you know, selecting your wand is very important, and they had this set up like Ollivander's shop, so it was so very, very cool. And in the corner of that actual room, there's a massive Dementor sitting in the corner. It's so cool. So I've just put the journaling in underneath there, and I did use my notepad punch to give the effect of a notebook for that journaling block. Now I'm going to put in this extra piece here because I want to have the other side layered up as well as the left. And the lightning bolts of Harry is important here because we all know Harry and the lightning bolts. I've got to turn it around so that, yeah, and there. You can see now how I could marry that pattern up, and you can, it just is a continuous flow. So I'm going to put that down into place because that's important. And this is going to help lay out some more of the papers into this overall effect. And look at that. I just love how that falls together nicely. Now that I've done that, I can trim off what I don't need. And that's important because you never know when you're going to need another piece of Harry Potter paper. And in my case, that's always because I have loads of photos where Harry is a feature. And there's a new exhibition coming to Sydney. So I will need loads of Harry Potter because you know I'm going to go. And there we are. So I'm happy with that. That's my photo. It's now got a layered mat. It does look a little bit more detailed, and look how beautiful it sits on that book paper. So don't be afraid to use your patterns, but you can see my photo is still popping off the page. And the reason that the photo is popping off that busy paper is because all the colors of my photo are in the colors of the papers. There's nothing clashing, and that allows the photo to pop. And that's really, really important when we're scrapping, to make our photos the feature. But we also like, well, I like the creative side of it. I like the layering. I like challenging myself to work with the paper in a way that it screams at me to layer it up. So that's why you'll see lots of layers on my layouts. I love it. The paper challenges you. If you really sit there and look at the paper challenges you to use it to the best of your ability, not just block it on. You know, paper blocking is great, and I do it on occasion, but I love layering up and I love adding detail. So I had this scrap here left over of clocks, and of course Harry Potter, it's not Harry Potter without clocks, so I've added that one there. I also had a little embellishment clock which I've put over to the right, and then I have a flare which says priceless, of course with my last name and this picture. It was priceless, so that was a perfect flare for this layout. I'm going to tuck that clock in under there. That's going to be a landing point for my sorting hat, which I cut out on my dies, and I have the initials HP for Harry Potter, of course, and I decide that I'm going to need a landing spot for that, and I want to use this plaid a little bit more. So I'm going to cut a circle of the plaid, which you just saw I used my circle punch to do that, but I'm going to use my circle tool here, the creative memory, sorry. And these are really old blades. They're the ones I lost. I don't know what happened to them, and I had to get new ones. So that's neither here nor there, but that's a tool that I use, as you can see, and you've seen me use it recently. I use it all the time. I love it. It's great for cutting my circles. So I now have a circle which I'm going to use for the initials up there, and that's a landing point, and it's also allowing that 3 sections of circles, because I've got the circle clock under the sorting hat, I've got the circles over in the clock and the flare, and now I have that circle for that title with HP. And I think that it's really important that you try and marry your elements across the page. So that's how that's sitting beautifully. I like it. I've got that little clock. I did cut another blue circle to go behind that little clock that's in behind the flare here, and I am, you know, adding in this ribbon trim, which isn't actually ribbon, it's a die cut. I love this die cut. I don't know why I don't use it more often. I need to go and find it again and use it. And it just allows for that extra little bit of trim to the page. Now to finish it off, I'm going to put in some lazy stitching with my pen, which is faux stitching, and I'm doing a zigzag across all of these diagonals, and that allows that detail to carry across the page. And it's really important that we carry our details across, and I like it as a finishing touch to the page. And look at that, it makes that diagonal pop off that page now. And it's just a little technique, doesn't take long, but it can be fiddly, and it makes all the difference to your layout. And I'm just putting in circles around some faux stitching around that HP circle, and I like how this has turned out nicely. All right, so another little finishing touch that you can always add to things is a ruled line, and I am doing a partial rule on the inside. Then I'm adding in my Nouveau drops at my 3 strategic points to set up that visual triangle, and there you go. That's the layout. So here's a revamp of a layout that I did before. It's still the same layout, just a revamp of the video. What do you think? Did it meet the challenge? Do you like it? Did you see it before, or is this new to you? Is there something that I've done today that you think, oh, I could give that a go? Let me know in the comments down below. I really do appreciate when you write to me and I can interact with your comments, and I will get back to you. That is one thing I will do. And there, that's my revamp for this month. I hope you like it. I hope it's inspired you to get creative with your little magical world. There's a sketch that I originally used. That's how it's turned out. Here's some close-ups of that flare and my decorative panel, as I like to call it. That sorting hat is so cool, that die cut, and I love it. So don't forget the thumbs up and a hype if you're on a digital device. If you're new to my channel, I hope you consider subscribing. I'm still aiming for that 1,000, and here's my next video for you. See you there real soon.